These winter coats have been insulated with bison fiber fill. It's a byproduct of bison ranching and a garment insulation opportunity that's no longer going to waste. Bison fiber fill is a combination of the animal's coarse guard hairs, bison down, recycled and low-melt polyester. Workers load the 4 fibers separately at the entrances to spiked conveyors. The fibers were compressed for shipping, so as they load them, they loosen them up a bit by hand. With sufficient amounts loaded, the operator switches on the conveyors. The conveyor's protruding pins snag the bison and polyester strands and transport them upward. They travel under rotating spiked cylinders, which comb the fibers to further open them up and disentangle them. The 4 different fibers flow into scales, which weigh equal portions and release them. The fibers drop onto a conveyor and all move into a blender for mixing. Exiting the blender, another vertical conveyor with pins retrieves them. It takes the fibers up past revolving bars that knock off the excess. This ensures an even mass as the bison and polyester fibers move between a series of different wire-covered rollers. This arranges the fibers in a parallel orientation and gets rid of any clumps. A comb further aligns the bison and polyester fibers. The fibers cling together in a homogeneous web. The web transfers to a wooden slat conveyor. At the side, a vacuum suctions up loose fibers to be recycled back into production. An oscillating conveyor layers the fibers in a zigzag fashion. This is called cross-lapping. Cross-lapping produces a substantial mat, and it also further intermixes the fibers. Landing on another conveyor, the web moves forward. It passes between a series of rollers that compress it. This gives the intermixed fibers the correct mass and height and produces a uniform bat. A sprayer now applies an adhesive to the bison and polyester insulation. The adhesive doesn't take right away. It will need to be activated. A trip through a long oven heated to 149 degrees Celsius triggers the activation. The heat also activates the low-melt polyester strands in the insulation. This bonds the interlaced fibers to prevent them from migrating through fabric when used as fill. This unique garment insulation is now complete. It heads into a slitting operation. Like pizza cutting wheels, circular blades slit the insulation mat in the center and trim the edges. Rollers take up the 2 completed strips of bison fiber and polyester insulation. Using a paper guillotine blade, an inspector cuts a sample to a specific size. He weighs the sample and confirms that it's adequate for the size. This helps prove the fiber mass is dense enough. He measures the sample's thickness. At about 1/3 of a centimeter, it will provide warmth without a lot of bulk. The team slices the bison fiber fabric fill to length using a hot wire. With that roll complete, they start the next one. They place the bison fiber rolls in plastic bags to protect them during transport to the clothing factory. They weigh each bag to confirm that there's enough insulation in it. After several hours, bison fibers and polyester strands have been transformed into a high-loft insulation that's moisture-wicking. Stuffed inside a jacket liner, this bison fiber insulation won't be seen, but on a winter day, its presence will definitely be felt.